Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So this session is about Checkpoint CoreXL. So it is one of the core features in Checkpoint, and it is we can say like inside feature, guys. So in Checkpoint, if you know CoreXL, CoreXL, ClusterXL, I think we are good in core part of that firewall. So these are the core features in firewall, like CoreXL, CoreXL, and ClusterXL. So ClusterXL I already uploaded about cluster Excel and lab and everything. So you can watch that session. This session is about core Excel. In next session, we'll try to do some tuning, core Excel tuning. We'll play in the practical, and then I will try to upload for core Excel. Okay. So let's start with core Excel. Like what is core Excel and what is it's important at the moment in checkpoint firewall. So Core Excel is one of the performance enhanced technology in checkpoint firewall. Okay. So before going forward, let me explain like how firewall was handling the traffic before Core Excel. When Core Excel was not developed by checkpoint, when Core Excel was not introduced in checkpoint, how traffic was handled, and how performance utilization happened. Okay. So how firewall handle traffic without core access? I'm going to explain. If you understand this point, guys, then we can understand the actual meaning and actual benefit of core Excel. Okay. So before core Excel, for example, any traffic coming to the CPU, for example, CPU1 or CPU2, this traffic is going to send to the firewall code to execute that traffic. Okay. And till now, firewall code is going to lock until that traffic get proceed. Okay. For example, another traffic coming to CPU2 or CPU1, it is not going to execute guide until the lock is released and firewall code has completed the traffic process. Okay. So this is how we can see like it was not good solution, right? Maybe we can see some um, problem in our performance, in traffic performance. You can see because every traffic is handled by CPU, right? And traffic coming to the CPU is going to send to the firewall code to execute the traffic, but one traffic is handled at a time. And for example, CPU1 send traffic to the firewall code, and firewall code is going to be execute that traffic, and till now it is going to lock it. Means it is not going to handle, not going to accept another traffic until the earlier traffic get proceed. So these are the demerit, guys, right? So to overcome this issue and develop some performance, and because at the moment checkpoint is the market leader, right? Follow the checkpoint. So now let's move on like how it was more successful and when core Excel features enabled. Yeah. So now we'll try to see like how firewall handle traffic core Excel enabled when core Excel features was enabled by checkpoint, and then how traffic is handled and how we are getting good performance from traffic wise. I'm telling. So when traffic coming to the firewall, it is going to send. It is handled by it is SND. SND is Secure Network Distributor, someone called Secure Network Dispatcher. So when traffic coming to the firewall, it is going to be handled by SND, Secure Network Distributor. SND has detail of all the traffic, like for example, which traffic I need to assign to CPU1, which traffic is assigned to CPU uh, 2, for example, CPU 3. So SND is kind of manager, we can say, guys. Okay. For example, any traffic coming to the firewall, it's going to handle by SND. SND is a detail. For example, it is new traffic. So new traffic is because there is no any entry for new traffic in SND. table, right? Secure network distributor table, we can say, SND table, we can say. There is no any entry for new connections. It is going to be handled through firewall operating system, means slow path. It is going to check like security policy and other step, and then that traffic is going to be executed. And then accordingly it's maintain the entry in the SND table. Okay. And then, for example, let's see like SND has now detail of that traffic and it is handled by CPU1. So when again this traffic coming to the firewall, SND is going to send that traffic to CPU1 only. Okay. And one CPU can handle multiple traffic and all are independent to each other. So this is how we know traffic was getting utilized properly. Earlier, we need to wait, okay, to execute by firewall code. And one traffic was handled at a time. Okay. And that were the demerit things, right? But in this case, we don't need to wait, guys. If 10 traffic come into the firewall, it is going to distribute among all of the CPU, like firewall instances. And for example, CPU2 can handle multiple traffic, CPU1 can handle multiple traffic, and both are independent to each other. So it is going to load balance. We can say like it is going to load balance traffic among all the multiple CPU. We can see like that. So this is the beauty of CoreXL, guys. Okay, so I hope you guys understand about the CoreXL and its benefit and how it was working before it was enabled in the checkpoint firewall. So whatever I'm explaining, guys, this is the advanced features in checkpoint. Okay. Let's understand about like the number of kernel instances based on the total number of core system. For example, in your firewall, there are number of core one. So there is no need to be enable CoreXL. It is going to, because CoreXL we can only enable when firewall has two core, minimum two core is required. Okay. If your firewall has one core means one CPU, there is no need to be enabled. We can't perform CoreXL kinds of things. We can't use CoreXL features, guys. In short, I can tell. If your firewall is four core, so three will be work as a like instances, and one will be work as a SND. SND means secure network distributor. If you have more than eight, then number of cores minus four. So for example, in our firewall we have eight core. So how many core will be work as a SND and how many will work as a firewall instances? So we can do 8 minus 4 equal to 4. So 4 will work as a firewall instances and 4 will work as a SND. Okay, so SND has right to distribute the traffic among all the firewall instances. And if it is new traffic, then it is going to follow through all the process. Okay, like a security policy, we can say like route check, like session lookup. There is no any entry in the session table, then policy lookup, destination net, route lookup, everything going to be followed. We can say like operating system level involvement is required for the new traffic, right? I know you guys understand the traffic flow of checkpoint firewall. So this session is about CoreXL. I'm just explaining what is the beauty of CoreXL in checkpoint firewall. So this is the advanced features in checkpoint. Okay. So yeah, we'll try to see last thing like little bit about SND also, and then we'll try to see some core like how we can see the CoreXL and how many core with the help of CLA command. And in next session, I will try to do some tuning, guys. Tuning means we'll try to play something in lab. Okay. So I just mentioned like CoreXL software architecture include the secure network distributor. Okay, and SND is responsible. Just 1 minute, guys. Just 1 minute. SND is responsible for processing incoming traffic from the network interface. So whatever incoming traffic coming to the firewall network interface, SND has responsibility to get this proceed securely accelerating packet. SND has a right like to check like this packet entry in secure XL connection table. If the entry in secure XL connection table, it is going to be escalate directly from the firewall egress interface. So we'll see that guys also. So CoreXL we'll see in our upcoming lectures. We can say like our upcoming session. So don't worry about it. Distributing non-escalated packets among kernel instances. So I mentioned guys, for example, this is our SND. SND kinds of, for example, our firewall has 4 core. Okay. And this is CPU number 1, CPU 2, and CPU 3. And this is the CPU 0, we can say. And this is working as SND. Okay. See, if there, if there is new traffic coming to the firewall, so there is no, because if it, we can say like, if the new traffic, then there is no entry in SND, right? So SND is going to be, because SND has no details. So like which this traffic is handled by CPU 1, CPU 2, CPU 3. So now it's going to process all the things like security policy routing, we can say like destination net routing and other stuffs, and then accordingly it is going to be proceed. And once it create the session, it is going to maintain that entry in our SND table, guys. And when same traffic coming again, SND has detail to assign that traffic to CPU1. For example, it's handled by CPU1. So these are the these are the responsibility of SND related to CoreXL, guys. So I hope you guys understand about the SND and CoreXL features and beauty. So if you have any doubts, we can comment and I will try to respond. I will try to answer it. Okay. Perfect. So let me try to log into the firewall to see a little bit about command, and then we'll close this session. And in next session, we'll try to um, do some tuning, guys. So our management IP is 192.168. Okay. Okay. So if you run the command, guys, let me increase the size also. Just 1 minute. If you run the command CPU, guys. So if you go on the system info, sysinfo, so we can see like core XL instance is 3. So in this firewall, total CPU is 3, and core XL status is on. So we can see all the things related to core XL here, guys. If you run the command CPU view and go on the sysinfo, if you go on the CPU, it will show like, see, CPU type 0, 1, 2, 3. So we can select totals for CPU if we consider as a 0. So 0 is playing as a SND and 1, 2, 3 is working as a firewall instances. We can select worker. So worker has the responsibility to handle the traffic, and SND is the responsibility to dispute among all the worker. We can select all the firewall instances. Okay. And another command, if you go in the export mode, and 1, 2, 3, run the command cp state OS space -f CPU. So it will show like how many CPU in this firewall. See, CPU number is 4. I just mentioned, right? So out of 4, 3 is working as instances, 1 is working as a SND. Okay, then run the command fwctl multi state. So it is going to show like how many connections at the moment for CPU 0, CPU 1, CPU 2. Okay, no, like peak connections, active, everything is going to see with this command, guys. fwctl multi state. Multi means CoreXL. Okay. If you run this command fwctl space -l -a -b, see, it is going to say like firewall 0 is for firewall 0, CPU 0 assigned, firewall 1, CPU 0 assigned, firewall 2, CPU 0 assigned. So the current license only permits using CPU 0. So because this firewall is not, this is we are using as a evaluation license. So it's showing like the current license only permits CPU zero using CPU zero. So whatever traffic is handled at the moment from this firewall, only CPU zero is going to play as a role to handle the traffic because this firewall has we are using as evolution license. So it's showing like the current license only permits using CPU zero. That is fine. So our approach was to just show like how CoreXL work, how we can play. So these are the commands. Okay. If you want guys to assign like if you want to assign like firewall instances, but this is showing like the current license only permits using CPU zero. Otherwise, you can assign like firewall instances to CPU one, CPU two, CPU three. So just the command like fwctl affinity a space minus s means set minus k means kernel. For example, if you want to assign firewall instances, firewall we can select kernel 3 to CPU 1. Okay. So this command indicates fwctl affinity a space minus s means set minus k means kernel 3 means kernel number 3 and we are going to assign CPU number 1 to kernel instances 3 to kernel instances 3. Okay. But it is showing like invalid kernel ID because there is no any kernel 3, only 0, 1, 2. So let's try to use for 0, 2. Sorry, 2. So it's showing like the current license only permits you CPU 0. So we can't use another CPU like CPU 1, 2, 3 guys. But this is the command. So we can assign CPU as per your requirement. But this is the temporary changes guys. This is not the permanent changes. But in next session, we'll try to see like how we can do permanent changes, permanent commit we can say. So these are the command. With the help of this command, we can assign CPU number 1 to firewall instances, kernel instances 3. Okay. Same thing we can do for CPU interface also. For example, fwctl affinity a space minus s minus I for interface Ethernet 2 and we can assign 2. For example, we want to assign CPU number 2 for the to the interface Ethernet 2. So we can do with the help of this command. So this is how we can play with CoreXL guys. And this is the beauty we can say. Okay. So I will try to do some tuning in next session because this firewall is only licensed to permit using CPU 0. So we can't do much thing, but I will try to explain all the command in next session. I will try to explain debug commands as well, which we use in CoreXL guys. So I hope you guys understand the features of CoreXL, the function of CoreXL, how we can see all the stuffs like CPU, NSND, all the things with the help of commands. So if you guys like my efforts, please share, subscribe, like as much as possible. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you, everybody.